Hello, thanks for joining us to the SDCC at Home Comic-Con panel. This is a little bit different. You are normally expecting us to be inside of one of the convention halls, but we're actually inside of Wollongong right now. We'll get to that in just a little bit on our virtual tour. This is the YOLO Crystal Fantasy panel. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Zach White. I'm the moderator. And joining us in just a little bit will be our panelists. Before they start, I just want to talk about the show. It is executive produced by Michael Cusack, Greta Lee Jackson, Emma Fitzsimmons, and Mike Cowap. Produced by Princess Pictures in a church in Melbourne, Australia. It's Adult Swim's first and currently only international comedy series. I'm so excited to be here and have the chance to talk with the panelists, the talent of the show, and what else is there to do besides introduce them? It's one of my favorite shows on Adult Swim, and I hope you'll like it just as much as I do. I love it. I love it so much, and I've only seen the rough cuts. Without further ado, I'm going to bring out our first panelist. She's a writer, producer, actor on Kenny Tonight. You might recognize her, or Wham Bam Thank You Ma'am. It's the voice of Sarah in YOLO Crystal Fantasy. Sarah Bishop, inside the house. This is Sarah's house.
Hi. Hello.
Hey Sarah, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to my home.
I'm fine.
Oh, sorry, my Siri. I thought my phone thought it said, "Hey Siri, how's it going?" I said, "Hey Sarah, how's it going?" I hear a laugh. That's our next panelist, writer, musician, and actor. Also the voice of Rachel on YOLO. It's Todd Manojlovic. Manojlovic.
Yeah, that's the one. That's it.
We have a lower third, I think, too. That might be easier if people can read it and understand it.
yeah. It's a weird one. It's a Balkan one, you know.
Yeah. Todd Manojlovic.
That's the one.
That's it. All right. Awesome. Thanks for being here,
Todd.
And last but not least, the writer, producer, an actor, and animator. You might have been one of the millions of people who saw Damo and Darren, the original YOLO on YouTube, or maybe one of the millions who've seen Bushworld Adventures, and also the co-creator of Smiling Friends. It's Michael Cusack joining us, the last person in the house.
Hello, Zach White. I'm so glad to be here at Comic-Con.
I'm excited to be here as well. You can see I'm so excited to be here. It's a fantastic opportunity to be doing this.
It's great. I mean, you're a perfect suit for presenting Comic-Con. I think that you're gonna be the best vessel for YOLO Crystal Fantasy to the world. So I'm so happy to be here. We're all happy to be here.
Thank you. You and Sarah are both. You've worked on both sides of the camera. Am I doing a decent job as moderating?
You're doing so good. I mean, honestly, I'd probably just prefer to not answer any questions and just watch you talk about our show for the rest of the
I don't want to talk anymore
panel.
about this. I want to just learn about the show from you and your team.
Sure. We're excited to tell you anything you want to know.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, before we begin, I mentioned we're in Wollongong, and this is a virtual tour, so we're going to be traveling through different parts of the city. That's the gist of it. So right now we're at Sarah's house at the home base, but before we go to the next location, we have a clip from the show.
I want that meat tray.
Let's go.
If you girls are going to Goondiwindi, you should borrow my TomTom GPS. Works perfectly fine. Just bought it off eBay too.
No, it's okay. We can just use our phones.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yep. I won't suggest anything else anymore. I won't suggest anything else. You girls have fun. You girls have fun. Just leave.
Wait, let me book a ride.
Looks like the plan worked, boss. Yes. Next stop, Goondiwindi.
Woo.
Here we are. We're in Goondiwindi. Is this what
Very cool.
Goondiwindi actually looks like?
That's an average day in Wollongong and Goondiwindi.
Yeah. The tree. So right now we're in the bush. This is the outdoors. This is Goondiwindi.
Wow, we're finally here.
Yeah.
Finally. It's beautiful. It really is.
I love
this
it.
country.
It's very lovely.
I didn't say it at the beginning, but I should say all the backgrounds you see are actually parts of the show. They're pulled from the show from each episode. This is actually from the second episode of YOLO that you'll see this summer. So I'm very excited that we have the backgrounds here, and we're basically kind of the characters now in the show.
Yeah.
You're all welcome here.
Well, I mean, this is episode 2, Goondiwindi, and I guess this is where Sarah's going on her quest with the Wombat Shaman to look for the back entrance to the Dusty Truck and Donut Master. But the Wombat Shaman takes her on a bit of a detour, and this is basically what Goondiwindi looks like at its peak.
So, Michael, you pitched the show. You were actually in my office here in Atlanta in Adult Swim.
Yes.
When you first pitched the show, you pitched it to Mike Lazo. You were talking to me about the show in my office, and it basically was kind of sort of like a spin-off of Bushworld Adventures.
It was. I mean, I was just in Atlanta to see you guys. I didn't expect I was going to talk to Mike Lazo, but I was very lucky enough to walk past his office, and I haven't met him before. I was just going back with the LA development team for Bushworld. Actually, it was more Ollie, but Mike Lazo said, I watched Bushworld twice on Thanksgiving to me, and that was a big compliment. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he said, well, just you should just do more of that. Just do like a whole season. And I was like, oh, wow, of course I'd love to do that. Would it be Rick and Morty? And he said, no, just make up some new characters. And I'm lucky enough to have YouTube videos with some IP and some characters. And I'd always wanted to do something with the YOLO girls because that was the first, one of the first cartoons I did when I was learning to animate. So it felt right to bring them back and just put them in the roles that Rick and Morty, the Bushworld Rick and Morty were playing in that short. Like a kind of dominant, submissive kind of character duo. It already existed in YOLO, so I thought it was good to bring it back. And yeah, that was the green light for YOLO Crystal Fantasy.
Right on. Yeah, you were so Bushworld Adventures. You told me that started. You were at washing dishes, and you got a call from Justin Roiland to say, "Hey, do you want to do this?"
That's true. Yeah, I was just living a life of scum. Just day by day washing dishes at a place called Pancake Parlor in Melbourne. I was living in Melbourne at the time. And I got a message from Justin. It was very nice of him. He said he liked my shorts on YouTube, and they were planning to do an April Fool's. I guess you guys were, and they must have asked Zach. I mean, not Zach. He must have asked Justin. And Justin said, I know this guy in Australia that might be able to do like a bootleg episode. And yeah, and then Bushworld was made, and I'm thankful ever since for Justin messaging me that time.
That's awesome. And Todd, how did you get involved? You work with Michael. You do music. You're also a writer and also the voice of Rachel.
Yeah, well, actually, I've me and Cusack have been friends since. I'm the only one who says Cusack here. I have to remember that. I've been friends with him since year 8. Science class, I think it was.
What does year 8 mean? Is that like 8th grade?
Oh yeah, high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's. I think I was about 14 or 15 when I met him, and of course we, weren't looking to do science in science class. We were just looking to talk and have fun. So we sort of did that for a couple of years, and then Cusack asked me to be in this thing that I had no idea about. He's like, oh, I got some characters. I did a little animation. Do you want to come over and do some voices for it? Yeah, sounds great. Whatever. That's a night. And then next thing he's got it online and everybody's looking at it. And it was a real time.
Millions of views.
Yeah, it was weird. It seemed really natural because I'd known Cusack for so long that. I knew he was an animator and that he could draw, and when we used to talk to each other over MSN and stuff, he'd send us drawings and things like that. But yeah, it just seemed so natural to go onto the animation side of things, and I guess that's where it started. And here we are, next 10 years later, 8 years later, whatever it is.
Inside of a church in Melbourne.
Yep.
That's just a natural progression. I mean, doesn't everyone do that? Doesn't everyone just end up in a church?
Yeah.
Draw a network.
Drawing on the walls,
Yeah. It's just it's really just a schizophrenic den in here right now.
Yeah,
this plus the pandemic that has struck the world has turned this whole studio where we're making the show and doing everything into like a madness basement. But I think it adds to the creativity. It's added to the good thing is I just only finished writing, and we had a writers' room of like Australian writers at the beginning of this: Greta, Nina, and Michelle Brazier, Nina Oyama, and Greta Lee Jackson. But I still kind of wrote throughout the episode. Like this finale that I just did was just recently done with Uncle Lassen from Adult Swim. And I feel like it's really added to the vibe right now is added to the vibes, man. It's seeped into the show, and it's really it's been an interesting little journey to make a show like this. It feels very
nuts.
indie, I guess.
It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
It's been very strange.
Yeah, I mean, not only you're in another country, but also inside of a church, making an adult animated series that I love. I'm as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm so honored to be here. It's one of my favorite shows we've done, and it hasn't even aired yet.
That's so sweet,
That's
Zach.
so nice of you, Zach.
Yeah.
I think he's lying to us, but I think if you're telling the truth, that's so nice of you, Zach White.
I'm telling the truth. You know I am, Michael.
Oh, thanks.
Sarah, you got involved a little later than Todd. You didn't. Have you known Michael and Todd since year 8, or
No.
a little bit later?
No, I've known Michael for maybe like 5 years, Michael?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah. So I'm in a comedy group here in Australia called Skipbox with Greta Lee Jackson, one of the producers and writers of the show. And we made a lot of YouTube videos as well. And so we kind of met Michael around the traps just as YouTubers who all make stuff together. And we did a sketch show here in Australia together. And then I got the call quite recently about YOLO. And then it was one of those things where it was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll come down and like audition, I guess. And like, it'll be fun just to like hang out at the church and see Michael. And then I met Todd and we went to the pub and got a meal and had a beer, and it was really nice. And then I left and I was like, oh, that was really fun. But I didn't really know, I think, what the show was, or whether I thought I was only kind of like filling in for someone. I didn't really know that I had the role. Do you remember that, Michael? I was like,
it was
like, what's going on?
We didn't really know because we decided like last minute it was best if we had like a female voicing Sarah, and as in Sarah in the show, and we thought Sarah Bishop would be great. I always loved Sarah Bishop's voice, and actually Mike Cowap asked our agent to see who would be a good voice, and that was like your name was the first one that came up. And I was like, Sarah Bishop. Oh yeah, of course, she's a friend of mine. We'll just get her in, and it was so quick that I think when I was getting it to do the voice, we didn't really know. Like, I guess, I think you're the one. Do you know the reason I didn't know if you were still going to be the voice is because I just thought it was a bit weird. Like the first person we're auditioning you at the same time when we're recording. So you're the first person we auditioned, and then halfway through, I was just like, screw it. You can just. I think you'll be the Sarah. Like I said that in my mind. Obviously, I didn't tell you because I wanted to be a good.
You're the only person we auditioned in the end.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
We chose you after that recording, and it's been great ever since. It's we're still going to record the voice with Sarah, but the first 2 episodes are really great with your voice.
Yeah, you've recorded the first few episodes. How does that compare to the other roles you've done, Sarah? Like that you've already done. Was it easy to be Sarah and YOLO?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is like a dream job. Like I'm with you, Zach. I think this show is so amazing, and I love these boys, and they're so talented, and it's just like it's actually a dream job. And I think that's part of the reason why I kind of like when I first read for it, I was like, oh, this is way too good. Like I can't get attached to this because I'll be heartbroken if I don't get it. But yeah, what's been really interesting is so I come in and put the voice down after Michael has already laid it down. And what's been a really, really fun process is kind of trying to find this balance between mirroring what he does, because the particularly the comedy, I think, is so specific and it's so good. And he's already kind of nailed it anyway in each take. But then it's kind of me coming in and adding my own version of Sarah on top of that, and just trying to get to just be as authentic as possible, and I think capture some of that heart and not earnestness, maybe a little bit of earnestness that Sarah has. And kind of layering that in as well.
That's what's so good about it. It's because I guess that comes from me being a control freak with all my other animations and cartoons. Like I love getting the because it feels like comedy is very much like music. Like you've got to have like da-da-da, then a beat, then like the joke or whatever. And that I like to get down just accurately. And it's great to get Sarah in to dub over the awful Sarah takes that I do. But yeah, it's great because then it sounds like Sarah's actually evolved into like the character that she's supposed to be, but it keeps my kind of blueprint of the comedy and the delivery. So it's a nice little mesh.
So you talked about music. We'll be getting to that in just a second. I want to say one of my favorite things, we talked about it at the beginning of the panel, that Bushworld, it was inspired by these different characters, these creatures. It's not about Rick and Morty. It's about the creatures and characters from Australia. And in the next clip, there's some characters that I absolutely love who sing a song that is so catchy that I've already been singing it. It's been stuck in my head. No. So hopefully it doesn't get stuck in your head watching at home. But let's take a look at the next clip. This is when Rachel and Sarah end up at the beach.
I guess we're at the beach.
Beach. Welcome to the beach. The beach. This is the beach. This is the beach. Here you are at the beach. The beach.
Who are you? Who are you and why have you come to the beach?
Oh, that's just silly.
So how do you decide? How do you decide when Rachel and Sarah encounter other characters in the show that they're not humans?
To be honest, well, the thing is with YOLO is, like I say, it came from that Bushworld way of doing things, where it's just two characters in a weird world. I thought the YOLO girls were perfect for that vessel, but it really is. The show I was like falling in love with just as much as the main characters. It's just the kind of weird world that surrounds them, that's in Bushworld Adventures. And it was a great excuse to put in all this stuff that, like Todd was saying, we used to make music in my dad's living room, but it was because we were a little bit too insecure to actually, and this is where Brendan Caulfield too, the guy that's doing the music to all of YOLO, because we were kind of a bit self-conscious about starting a real band, we would more just make jokey, stupid music just to laugh. Because we're kind of music nerds. It's every musician loves when music's a bit off because it sounds funny. So we made this band called Super Smiles, all three of us, in about 2009 or 10. And the joke was making all these like, I guess kind of like what the Residents do. And, those progressive bands like Zappa and all that, they make like worlds and like kind of cartoonish like joke scenarios, and we're doing that with our music. And because we're doing it in a living room when we're just like 19, 20 years old, my dad used to have a crocodile, it's somewhere around here still, I can't find it, and a shell and all this stuff. He'd just have this stuff that he'd found, brought back from Papua New Guinea when he used to go on trips there. And we used to use those props as, I guess, like just part of the songs. Like we'd like be playing like a out of tune guitar and then like pick up a crocodile and like pretend it's talking like, oh, blah, blah, and like that was the singer of the band at the time. So it just evolved into this dumb lore, and that actually is where like things like Ted came from. And people that I guess have seen my cartoons would probably know of Ted. He's the big like yellow circle face with a smiling face. See, we all kind of came up with that. That was like an omnipresent God character that existed in this Super Smiles universe. And, his face has ended up being like, he's basically like a cameo in Smiling Friends. It's the HQ of the building. That's the face. But that would evolve into like little characters, like the crocodiles, like those things on the beach we just saw. They're basically just all little characters we'd come up with. So it took, basically it took 10 years to just get all this shit in a show, and YOLO was just an excuse to do it.
So they are inspired by things you've seen, things you've been a part of in Australia.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just lore. I like just dumb, stupid shit we'd talk about that. It's dumb, stupid crap. I'm sorry, I don't want to swear. That we've just we've built up over all these years of just joking around, and it was a good excuse to inject it into this kind of show. That's why they meet those kind of characters: crocodiles, seashells, and just weird little colorful characters. Is something I always drew. It was just something we always joked about. But Todd, what do you think? Like, a lot of those characters like that they meet on the beach and all those strange little characters, where do you think they came from?
I reckon the beach kind of came naturally from it just seemed that your dad had what? It was a crocodile. There was a seashell, and I guess we lived in Wollongong, so we always weren't very far away from the beach. And then yeah, like Ted, obviously an omnipotent, smiling face, void dweller, obviously leads on from those three things, right? Surely that's a normal thing.
It was just like like organically, I guess, just. It was basically everyone. I guess every group's got like their inside jokes. That would be the best way I could describe it. Like, you just the silly stuff you and your friends joke about. I guess we just did it for so long, for a decade, that it unintentionally built like a world. That,
to be honest,
could be this.
Even to be talking about it in a slightly professional manner is weird.
It's very strange. Yeah, it's very. I don't think Todd and I have never talked like this to each other about this world. So it almost feels like there's not that much thought that went into it, if you know what I mean.
I'm just curious. I love them.
Stream of consciousness, I guess.
Yeah,
they're great. I love those characters. Sarah, did you grow up differently? Do you have beach seashells and crocodiles that you interacted with as a child?
I actually did grow up on an island at the top of Australia that had a population of 2,000 people, and my dad is a marine biologist. So,
oh my god,
yes, Zach.
So you're about to be. Then you're really excited because we're hopefully in for a real special treat. Michael and Todd, if you don't mind, we're going to ask you to play some live score. That clip is only 25 seconds. I'd love to hear a longer version of the beach.
Would absolutely.
I think we can do that.
If you don't mind. I know you're in the studio. You got your gear.
Of course.
I'll just
Yes.
So ready when we're ready. Oh, cool. All right. So Super Smiles Live, Comic-Con. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you.
I wish Brendan Caulfield could be here, our third member of the band, but
Miss you, Brendan.
he's here in spirit. All right. So the beach.
Welcome to the beach, the beach, the beach. Here you are at the beach, the beach. I love my mum, I love my mum, I love my mummy, I love my mum. Thank you, everybody, thank you. That's it, that's my song. Thank you, everybody.
That's great.
You'll hear that song in YOLO Crystal Fantasy if you watch it August 9th.
Thank you.
We can play another one if you want. Or Zach, why?
Yeah, you got another one?
I think we've got another one. What about
Crocodile
So there's another place in YOLO Crystal Fantasy that girls go to called Crocodile Town, like you'll see when you watch the show, and there's a very special song that plays there, and I think we can play that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Arrived at Crocodile Town. Crocodile Town is under the ground. Here we dance and sing our song of how you meet the crocodile in not too long. Just you wait and you will see. Down in the swamp is where he'll be. You will meet a sharptooth friend, and then the song will finally come to an end. Crocodile Town, Crocodile Town. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was excellent.
Thank you.
Can we get? Do you know if you can like partner with Mondo to release like a vinyl, an LP of that exclusive
We'd love
merch
to do
at
that.
Comic-Con of
I'd absolutely love that.
all the songs in YOLO Crystal Fantasy?
Super Smiles?
Oh, yes, please.
Those are just a few of the songs. There's many more from each episode. and I wish we could listen to all of it, but we don't have all that time. So thank you for sharing that with us, Michael and Todd.
That's fine. Pleasure to play. I think it's the first performance of Super Smiles ever. Neil said Smiling Friends. First performance of Super Smiles ever after 10 years. So thank you for having us.
Woo.
Thank you. And we're going to go to our last clip. This is another character that Rachel and Sarah encounter on their mini adventures in Wollongong. This is when Sarah meets Trent. Let's take a look.
Trent?
Yes, it is me, Trent.
You kind of look different than you do on TV.
Guess it didn't work.
Might have got the wrong Rachel.
Oh well, let's go.
Wow. Very cool.
Really
Yeah, that was in
insightful
Goondiwindi
stuff.
I love that.
from episode 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, so it's always fun to see your cartoons back.
I love the different characters in YOLO that Sarah and Rachel encounter. Do you ever see making like a cinematic universe? You know, we are at Comic-Con, like a Marvel, like a spin-off of the Mayor of Goondiwindi, or...
I mean, I'd love to. Like I say, we've built this universe over a lot of years, and a lot of characters have come out of it. And just also me coming up with my own stuff, my own stupid little Australian worlds. Combining all that has always been the best fun for me. So absolutely, I'd love to expand any strange little stupid characters in YOLO Crystal Fantasy.
Yeah, I feel like each character has their own, like, they're so strong, like, even when they show up just for, like, 30 seconds. Like, the Ruber, it's a spoiler for one of the future episodes, but when the Ruber shows up, I feel like that character could have at least its own episode.
Yeah, I could see the Ruber movie. I could see Ruber quadrilogy with merchandise and... that I think that is my meal ticket. So the next thing I'll be doing is definitely not even the Bushworld cinematic universe, just the Ruber one. So I'll just do a bunch of Ruber stuff.
Ruber has its own cinematic universe.
Yeah, and even just make the Ruber like that.
Like a
Ruber in
company.
the show. The company, just so that we can actually have a kangaroo hopping people around, just like Uber does. I think that'll be more profitable than any of this cartoon nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Real stuff. Exactly. Real stuff,
Yeah.
like kangaroos getting people to their destination.
Yeah, the future.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I should say, just to give credit here, I did like a lot of the, I guess, storyboard supervising, like the dummy I am taking on all that work. But we had other people working on this. Michael Dockery did that scene specifically. He's a fantastic illustrator. Nick Simpson, who was another storyboard artist, did a lot of work on these episodes. Andrew Honorato. We're all here in this little church. All three of us, I guess, storyboarding for months and months, and a lot of cool stuff has come out of it, and I'm very excited.
Well, it's incredibly funny. It's beautiful to watch. And as you saw some of the backgrounds just from our virtual tour here, I think you're going to be in for a real treat. So check it out when it comes out.
Oh, yeah. I
Thank
should
you
also
so
say
much.
Monkey Stack and Adelaide Animated too. They did all the final animation on the show, and they've done a fantastic job. Thanks, Monkey
Awesome.
Stack.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Michael Cusack, Sarah Bishop, and Todd Manojlovic.
Yeah, almost got it.
Sorry, I was trying. There you go. It's a hard name, Todd Manojlovic.
Everyone in the comments
a hard
teach Zach
name,
White how
man.
to say Manojlovic.
Yeah, in the comments,
correctly.
roast me, flame me.
Yeah. No. Just teach him the right way. Just with the spelling you think that name should sound like.
I
Yeah.
love you, though, Zach White. I love you.
I love you too, Todd. Thank you so much. We don't have that much time left in the panel, so I just want to say, if you want to watch YOLO Crystal Fantasy, it premieres August 9th at midnight on Adult Swim. You can also watch the first episode right now on the Adult Swim app or at adultswim.com. And if you go and watch it, you're going to take your own virtual or your own tour from your living room or bedroom or basement into Wollongong and join Sarah and Rachel's adventures. It's very exciting and very fun. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your Comic-Con experience, your SDCC at home.
Thank you, Comic-Con. You guys have been awesome. Thank you.
You're the real heroes here.
Yeah, woo.
Thanks for watching at home,
Thank you.
everyone.